And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Vampires, werewolf, and fairies. Well, I haven't seen a lot of fairy movies these days, but certainly werewolves and vampires are certainly popular these days. And there's also witches in this game, too. This is a sequel to Zombie Ninja Pirates and has a lot of high-name artists in here, but I guess we're more concerned about what's inside the box. This is a card game. I would put this in the kind of sort of take that genre. What does that mean? Well, let's look at the game and then I'll tell you. Even though the game is called Vampire, Werewolves, Fairies, apparently witches are involved too, but they didn't make the cut to get into the name of the game. Now, you might have noticed when I was dropping that on the back of the cards it says Zombies, Ninjas, Pirates. Mad Scientists didn't make the cut for that one. But anyway, why are the backs like that? Well, that's deliberate because you can mix this game with that game. In fact, the games, as far as I can tell, are fairly identical in how they're played, other than, names have been changed. Now you can see here that the artwork on these cards, there's 4 very different styles of artwork here, and that's okay. I guess it's not uniform across the set, but they got some big name artists here, including Foglio and Kovac, and just really good artwork you can see on the different cards. Now, you can have these cards in front of you during the course of the game. You're going to have 5 cards. At the beginning of your turn, you must play an action or object card. You then may use an object card if you have one, and then you may discard 2 cards, and you keep going. Draw back up to 5 and keep going. But you're trying to get, the goal of this game is to get these types in front of you. So you could be a vampire. You could be a werewolf. You could be a fairy werewolf. I think I've seen some movies with them in it. But you can be all of these different types at the same time if you want, if you can pull it off. You simply can't just play one of these types in front of you, though. Usually there's other cards you're going to have to play that will allow you to do it. Like, for example, I can play this action card. It says use with fairy type to become a fairy. Or I can play this pointy hat, use with the witch type card to become a witch. Now, if I have the witch in front of me already, I can just play this in front of me in my chest area, which would be below whatever types I have, and that's +2 if you're a witch. Like this, a willing victim, +3 if you're a vampire. And it's blood, you can become a vampire, or it's +2 points if you are a vampire. But then there are some cards like this. It says sparkles. It's +3 points if you're a fairy, -3 points if you're a vampire, because vampires don't sparkle. Now, if I am just a fairy, I would put this in front of me like this. If I am a vampire, I would flip the card and put it in front of me like this. Since I happen to be both, I'm a vampire fairy, I'd put it sideways like this. Although that could change as the game progresses because you can lose these types. See, there's a lot of action cards that players can play. A hair remover, using one player to remove the werewolf type. I play that in someone else, they're no longer a werewolf. Trial, get rid of the witch card. They're no longer a witch. Internal conflict, if someone's a vampire and a werewolf, use it to force them to get rid of one of the two. And so you're playing these action cards, you're playing object cards, you're playing type cards, and that's basically the way the game progresses. This card is shuffled into the bottom third of the deck, and when this shows up, everyone has one final turn. Then you simply add up the points that everyone has in front of them, and whoever has the most points is the winner. Well, there you go. A simple card game. Really easy to play. I mean, you just play a card, draw this card, play, draw this card, etc. It's not that difficult to play, and I guess there will be a lot of laughs out of it, like, aha, I've deferred you. When it comes down to it, this is not my style of game at all these days, because I just feel like you just play along with the game. You run off the humor in the game. However, I do realize that there's a large portion of people out there, many of them, my viewers, you guys, who enjoy this style of game, who enjoy games like Munchkin, games where I call them take that games, where you play a card on someone else and it's like, haha, oh, you play one of me, oh no, now I play one of you, ho ho, and it goes back and forth. and the games kind of live off the artwork and the theme of the game and the humor, sometimes, not always humorous, but in this one it is, rather than the actual mechanics. And the same thing here. It's not like you're going to sit there and go, what is my best strategic choice? Nah, you're just playing this game for the lark of it. And I don't like it much at all, but I do know there's a crowd of people who do. So I can make this recommendation. If you like Munchkin, you will like this. If you hate Munchkin, this is very similar. If you haven't played Munchkin and you want strategic deep games, you won't like this. If you don't care about that and you like vampires and werewolves and can't stand the movie Twilight, you will like this.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.